So picture this, you just spent $27,500, maybe $20,000 after rebate. Actually, that's gone. $30, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on the coolest electric truck on the road. You park it at the grocery store for 20 minutes. When you come back out, half your truck is gone. A few weeks ago, I got to take a look at the new Slate truck and SUV, and after making a video about those trucks, this scenario's kind of been playing out in my head. So I thought if I can't keep my mind off of it, maybe it's something you should be taking into consideration too if you're interested in the Slate truck. Now, if you watched my previous video, you know I kind of sort of maybe fell in love with these Slate trucks. The reaction was incredible from the thousands of you that watched the video and shared your thoughts, concerns, and questions, and even offered up your experiences with other EVs. But there's one issue that's been nagging me, and frankly, it's like the thing that is really making me hesitate about actually getting one of these Slate trucks. And if you have ever owned a Honda in late 90s or early 2000s like I have, you're going to understand exactly why this matters. First, let me address the other concerns from the comments, because I want to be clear about why this isn't about those issues. Quality was brought up in a ton of comments, and look, I drive a Honda Element. It's got plastic cladding everywhere. It's been bulletproof for years for me, and I don't think that's a problem. Once I start to see the actual productions, I'll reevaluate then. The range anxiety, I understand for a lot of people it may be different. I personally don't drive all that much without being near a place that I could charge up. And I imagine this is something that I'm going to charge every day like I do with my iPhone. According to AAA Foundations for Traffic Safety, in 2022, American drivers drove an average of 30.1 miles per day. Even on my longest local days, I rarely am going over 120 miles in a day. Maybe 150 if I'm really pushing it. But honestly, I just don't think that's going to be something that's going to affect me. This won't necessarily be my only vehicle, I don't think. But here's what actually is concerning to me. If you owned a Honda Civic, a CRX, or an Acura Integra back in the early 2000s, you probably, like me, lived in constant fear. These cars were theft magnets. I personally had my own cars broken into multiple times, had many friends have their cars stolen. And it wasn't necessarily just the car itself. For me personally, I was really into car stereo and alarms and electronics back then, doing installs and worked in a shop, and somebody actually broke into my CRX and stole my entire toolbox right out of the back. There were thousands of dollars worth of tools gone, because Hondas were just easy targets back then. What made Hondas so appealing to thieves back in the day is kind of the same thing that I'm concerned about with the Slate truck being a new, exciting thing. They were super popular, the parts were everywhere and always available, and a little bit valuable. They were easily interchangeable, and most importantly, they were just relatively easy to break into and steal from. Now, maybe it won't be easy to break into and steal the entire truck, but if the panels don't have some sort of protection, I'm a little bit concerned. Now, imagine this scenario. You're driving basically one of the newest, most distinctive trucks on the road. The Slate truck isn't exactly blending in, and the entire appeal of this truck is those removable panels. Door panels, bed panels, roof panels, lights, all of it being modular is what makes it so frickin' awesome. It's innovative, but also it's kind of tempting, let's say, for those that don't necessarily have morals. So if you can walk up to any Slate truck with basic tools and remove valuable body panels in minutes, it's problematic. You park at the beach, you go surf for a couple hours, you come back and your fenders are gone. Or you're camping and someone decides they need replacement parts of their own for their Slate. The question that's been eating at me is, how easy is it for someone to steal these parts, and what can you actually do to prevent it? Now, I'm not worried about the basic parts being stolen. I don't even think I'll have many of the basic parts on my truck. I want to personalize as much as I can, so things like the front grille, the headlights, and who knows, maybe by then someone will have already made wide body fenders. Those are the kind of things that I don't want to worry about being stolen. Am I overthinking it? Absolutely. Could it actually be a problem? You tell me. Let's talk about solutions, because I've been researching this kind of obsessively. I saw some comments about security bolts and tamper-resistant screws. While that's a good option, you can also walk into your local Harbor Freight and for $20 basically have something to get past those, and you know, people buy them for legitimate work, so it's regularly available. What about some form of a lock system? Well, I kind of think that depends on how Slate designed the attachment system, and frankly, I haven't seen enough detail about the actual mounting hardware to feel confident in this. The reality is, if someone wants your panels badly enough, and they have 5 minutes and basic tools, there might not be much stopping them. Here's where I need your help though. This is a solvable problem, but it's going to take the community to figure out the best solutions, in my opinion. Have you thought about this issue at all? Do you have any experience with removable panels on other vehicles that you've left parked in a public space? Maybe you work in security or have ideas about tamper-resistant mounting systems. What about insurance? Does the theft of individual panels get covered, or are you just stuck replacing them out of pocket? Obviously, the pricing will play into that, and aftermarket things will need to have additional coverage. So all of these things are variables that I just haven't quite figured out the answer to yet. But maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe Slate has already engineered a solution that I'm not seeing, but given my history and trauma with Honda break-ins back in the day, I can't help but worry that we're about to see a whole new category of theft in the automotive world. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Am I being paranoid, or is this a legitimate concern? If you have ordered your Slate truck, have you thought about this? Have you thought about what you're going to do to protect those panels? Maybe this is something the community of Slate drivers and owners will be able to come together and solve collectively with our own DIY ways of doing it, because I really do want one of these trucks, and I just want to keep all the pieces, especially those aftermarket pieces that I envision myself customizing the truck with. If you found this helpful or have any thoughts, hit that subscribe button, join us in the comments, let's figure this out, and let me know what you think. Is this a deal breaker or just a manageable risk? Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.